Hi, Stoughton. This is Steve Cavey, selecting for the town of Stoughton. Today is April 23rd, 2020. So I'm going to go through the meeting we just had, the Board of Selectmen meeting. And I warned you last week I was going to cut off all my hair, and I did. I did it myself. You can give me some advice on how to do it better. But it is what it is. Let's just be pragmatic here. So the before I go on, I just want to remind everybody that down below you'll be able to find in the description links to the full meeting that was recorded by SMAC. You'll find links to where the agenda is. That there's also a link to where the minutes will be when they become available, and there's a anonymous suggestion box at the very bottom. I check it all the time. Actually, I didn't check it last week, so there might be something in there. But I usually check it, at least once a week. All the comments extremely helpful, especially during a time like this when there's a lot of things to think about. If somebody has an idea, any sort of suggestion on what we can do better, something we can think about, whatever it might be, please share it. If you're not sharing it publicly, and you don't want to put your name on it, send it to my anonymous suggestion box, and I guarantee you it'll be part of the work that I do for the town. So the kind of want to go through quickly what we discussed in the meeting tonight. There's some really critical things um, that we had an opportunity to discuss. So I'm going to try to get through this a little bit quickly. Consent agenda, just paying bills and whatnot. We did that. So there's also there was a procurement request with regard to the water meters. There's a project that's been going on for a while. The town's going to be buying them. There are requirements for what's referred to as proprietary specifications that our procurement laws require us to take a vote on that and say like there's like one specific thing we're looking for, and there will still be bidding and competition. So we voted on that. Normally that'd have to be signed by all 5 members of the Board of Selectmen. We also voted to allow the chairman to vote on behalf of the entire board. Next issue, town elections. So the last time we met, things were a little bit different. There was some information that was different than what we have right now. The schools were planning to open on May 4th because there was no directive otherwise. That was the information we had. So we were balancing very much the needs for the safety of the students at the schools and the safety of voters, along with just all the poll workers, everybody, trying to make everybody safe, but also ensure that the democratic process is fair and transparent. And that was a difficult balancing act. We did the best we could, and we came up with a date of May 30th, which is a Saturday. As much of an inconvenience as that is for many people, it's even a greater issue for people whose religious faith requires the observance of the Sabbath, and so it was a compromise that was being done really out of our limited options, and it is not ideal for a number of reasons. Also, relative to what I think a lot of people are feeling comfortable with, that felt a little bit soon, but those were kind of the cards that we were dealt, and we did our best to come up with a solution to a tough problem. So our information is different now. It's only been a week, but once again, all the cards have been reshuffled, and now schools are not opening for the rest of the school year. That really changes really the entire basis of some of the decisions that we made. So we revoted that. To at least we had a vote to reconsider that initial vote, and we talked about that at length. If you're looking, there's a lot of really helpful information in that discussion. We certainly talked about the reconsideration of it, but we also, there's so many areas of like what's required by law, what can be done, what can't be done, ideas to make it safe. All the stuff were discussed at length. So I can't rehash it. It was a very lengthy discussion, but I definitely recommend, if you are an active voter who's trying to figure out, how are we dealing with this, and what are we, what are they looking at things and whatnot. look at that discussion. We're doing our best to answer all the questions that could possibly be asked, but but that's tough. So if you want to sort of get your head around the elections and how they're how where our minds currently are at, definitely check that out. At the end of the day, so that vote, we passed it unanimously. All voted to reconsider, and we did not select a new date for a couple of reasons. We have a little bit of time before we have to have that finalized, but more importantly, because information is constantly changing, we're really trying to limit setting a date and canceling it, and setting a date and canceling it, and setting the date and canceling it. There's going to be some additional guidance from the governor, I think, shortly. I think within the first week of May, that might further inform our choices here. So, you know, we don't currently have a date. People were batting around mid-June as a possible time, but we did not vote on that this time. I wish we did. This is, I think, an important thing that we do, but there's too many unknowns, and the limitations that we had with the school systems. Once those were lifted, provide us a little bit more time to think this through. Before I go on, as much as we're looking at issues of polling places and all that stuff, please, you are completely allowed to vote absentee. You just request an absentee ballot. You call up the town clerk, say I want to vote absentee, and you can. There are typically a number of requirements that you have to think, like there's particular legal reasons why you would normally be allowed to vote absentee, traveling out of town, things like that. That doesn't apply right now. Okay, so the law has changed just for this little window of time when we're dealing with COVID-19. You can vote absentee right now, and the specifics of how you do that, I think you want to talk to the town clerk. She's sending out some paperwork to everybody, so message for you to know. I think ultimately you don't have to give any reason, so don't complicate it. Just like follow the clerk's instructions. If you don't need to give a reason, don't give a reason, and vote absentee. Request that ballot. You can vote early too. You can start voting the second you get you request that absentee ballot. I don't know when it starts, but I know that you can start right as soon as you're able to vote absentee. Don't show up. There's no need for it. You can vote absentee, so please do absentee. Can't say it enough. It really is for everyone's safety. Vote absentee. The next thing was a question about town meeting. I think the date was set for that for late June. I remember the exact date. That might move. Right now we're keeping it, but because we don't want to keep on shifting it around, we do have some time. The town moderator was on the call, the current acting town moderator, but also we had the presumptive next town moderator. There's only one person running, so presumably, unless somebody pulls a real amazing trick in this last little stretch, he will be the town moderator. So we've been requesting his input on a lot of these discussions, and we talked at length about town meeting, what that might look like, who's doing what. Once again, very helpful to look at. The one takeaway is, unfortunately, the idea of doing a town meeting virtually is not legal. Law does not allow for that. We do have to have an in-person vote for town meeting. But the entire discussion section of town meeting, there might be a lot of flexibility, and people in town hall are looking at ways to do that. We can have presentations done virtually. We can have forums where people can essentially have the debates written. There's all sorts of things we can do so that if we have to show up and physically vote, we can make that an insanely fast process, so that we can have all the legwork done ahead of time, show up, avoid all contact as much as possible, and then vote, and then go home. But once again, we're going to get some more guidance from the governor. These dates might be moved out. What we can do might be pushed out. So we're just going to have to we're in a crazy time where we have to be flexible and kind of roll with the punches, because it's going to constantly change what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, and we're just going to have to keep on navigating these really rocky waters. I know it's super frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody. Certainly, obviously, it's frustrating to try to pin down a date, given the rules we have. But my frustration is not anywhere near a lot of other people who are, all they want to know is, when do I vote, and they don't want to have to keep on keeping track of what the town's latest position is. I hate having to do that, but we're not really given a whole lot of choice as I said, as we navigate these very rocky waters. We'll try to do our best here, and make the best decisions we can. But definitely check out that discussion too. Great, helpful stuff. And the last thing was COVID-19 housing assistance. So this is where there's the possibility of having some additional financing for both renters and homeowners with assistance in their mortgages and rent payments. There are programs that are available that where this would be relatively easy. Some might take a little bit more work. There are members of the CPA who have volunteered their expertise in both being members of the CPA, along with one's the member of the planning board. The other is a member of the housing authority. There's one from the SRA. So they have a broad set of experiences, and in their personal backgrounds are all also very helpful in this work, in law, construction, housing, and so the question was, how do we kind of build up the rest of this advisory board? How do we get an output from this group that we can then use? Because though most of the people were looking to use CPA funding, CPC funding, the people on those committees will ultimately be making decisions based on an application that's submitted. So so their early input's definitely helpful here, but we need more than just an application to the CPC. There might be other mechanisms for financing that would also be able to help us, and so we're looking to get a little bit deeper bench of people who can help out with this. Selectman Howe, or Select Board Member Howe, has volunteered to help out as well. She has a lot of experience and education that would certainly help her in this area. But we are looking for other people. We're looking for applications from the public, but we're looking for people with certain types of experience: project management, housing, public assistance, and finance and banking related to housing, generally speaking. But if you have an area of expertise that would be helpful, certainly any of these, please reach out and fill out an application. We desperately need the input of people who already have a lot of the answers, and know these fields, know the problems that we're up against. We're looking for very quick turnaround, so we're looking for a set of policies to try to finance by May 15th. So it's right around the corner. So it's a committee that's going to, or an advisory board that's going to have to act very quickly. No time to sort of learn on the job. You're going to have to come in with a lot of ideas. But we desperately need people's help who know what they're talking about. So that's my spiel. I think that was everything. Thank you very much for allowing me to serve on the select board. It's a wonderful experience, even under these unusual circumstances. It is just nice to be able to help out my neighbors. It's great to just just as an observer even see all of the the wonderful and thoughtful people in our community who day after day are working tirelessly to help out each other, and I'm getting all teary and misty here, but I love it, and I thank you very much for the honor of allowing me to do it. be safe, be well, take care of yourselves, and remember to be patient with yourselves and with others as we work through a very stressful time period. But I know you guys can do it. Take care. Be well. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.